podcast.
You
don't have to.
Make me do this.
You don't have to. I can do it.
Oh yeah, go ahead if you want to do it. You know how to get the link.
No, but I've got it.
It's on the YouTube already. Like
I'm watching us.
Yeah, I should open up the little chat thing, huh?
We need to tell people, please subscribe and click the little bell.
No.
Hey, we have 30 subscribers to our channel.
What? No.
Talking about.
It says subscribe 30.
Stop. No. Stop. No.
Stop. Wait. What?
I'm not even subscribed. Oh yeah, I am.
I am.
There we go.
All right. What was I doing? Oh, I was trying to pop out live chat.
Yes, I'm doing that now too. Live chat. Oh, I'm not even signed in here. Come on.
Oh, do I gotta switch? Twitter still doesn't allow you to log into multiple accounts, do they? So I have to log out or open an incognito window.
I have an extension for that lets me just switch accounts rapidly.
Oh, really?
Oh, do you? Is it any good?
It works.
That's not what he asked.
Yeah, it's all right. Quick Tweet is what it's called.
Oh, well, where were you like 20 minutes ago when I could have installed that? I can't do that now. Oh, not Wave PHP. That's stupid. Not Wave. Wait, Wave PHP is not stupid. Me logging into Wave PHP was stupid. Sorry. Forgive me. I don't have PHP ugly. I'll be damned. Where's it at?
Oh my gosh, John.
It's not in 1Password.
Just post it to IRC. I'll post it to PHP ugly.
IRC?
Yeah. So Frank can get a hold of it. That was not IRC.
I know, but Frank hates me right now, so I'm not posting it to IRC.
Oh, why does Frank hate you?
I don't know, because he's mean. Have you ever talked to that guy?
Oh, the meanest.
So mean. All right, can I go to bed now?
Not until after we've done the intro.
Oh.
Hey, that's the YouTube channel. Well.
Oh, wait, now I gotta go retweet that, don't I?
I gotta retweet it too because I'm retweet.
You guys been following Trump's tweets lately?
I know.
Fantastic.
I'll follow anything that guy does. Hey, that's okay, John. I'll post it to IRC.
HP Elite Book. $14 14-inch notebook for $340. AMD A8 8600B quad core, 128 gigabyte solid state drive. 8 gigs of RAM. Nah.
Are we just reading the Fry's catalog?
Is that the show now? Is that what it is?
That's Woot.
PC cards.
Just read sales ads. Best Buy has the Android Watch. All right. Let's do this, man. I got only so much in me.
I'm waiting for John to stop laughing now.
I'm not sure what his problem is. I think it has something to do with the fact that I said I have him in me or whatever I said.
You trying to say I'm small? That just went out live.
Oh,
Let me drink some more.
John, you're a mouthful.
Believe the term is petty for.
What's that?
It's just a tiny, tiny little snack.
God.
Imagine, gentlemen, living in a world where every website you went to, you had to go referencing the IP address. No names, no subdomains, no nothing, just the number. Before DNS was invented, that was your only option. Thankfully, January 1st, 1985, DNS was invented. This is episode 85 of the PHP Ugly podcast. Coincidence?
I think
not.
that was good. That
No,
was
it
a good
wasn't.
one.
That
You
was
don't have to
good.
lie.
You
I
bust
like-
my balls week
don't
after
have
week.
to
You
lie.
say that one was good.
No, that was good. I like that one.
Damn it! You just like
It's
it 'cause
just-
it was short.
Yeah.
It was quick. It was to the point,
It's the-
and I got
it's
it.
the
I got it halfway through. Like I'm like, oh, I see where he's going with this one.
Yeah. Gentlemen,
But
We've
how is
had
it?
a-
How is it? No, I got to go back. How was it invented
Okay.
on January 1st? Was it released January 1st? Meaning it was really invented.
Wikipedia didn't say that. It just
1984?
said January 1st, 1985.
Well, Wikipedia's stupid. Okay,
Yeah, and
move
they
on.
keep asking for my money too.
They do. Have you donated yet?
I
If
have
everyone just gave $3, we could be
filthy
wealthy.
rich.
That brings me up to another $3 thing, but it's only for us San Diegans. It's completely not. It's definitely not PHP ugly material, but freaking SDG&E. I just found out today that back in 2007, the wildfires that ravaged San Diego were caused by faulty SDG&E power lines.
That's right.
And they wanted San Diego residents to pay. And granted, it's only, I think it worked out to like $1.67 a month for 6 years, but they wanted us to pay for their mistake. Luckily, the Public Utilities Commission said, nope, you cannot charge your customers. But I'm just flabbergasted that they would expect us to pay for that, where if I, as a citizen, caused a fire that did that much damage, I would be responsible. And there's no way I could say, hey, can't every San Diegan just pay 50 cents a month to cover my mistake? It's ridiculous.
The horrible thing about it is you know that they did. They just called it something else. They're like, oh, okay, so we can't call it you pay for our screw up. All right, we're going to call it electric.
Our rates go up by a penny a megawatt or gigawatt or whatever.
Can't win.
It's
That's if you're watching Mr. Robot, that's the whole spoiler alert. That's the whole note for the season. You can't
You
win.
can't win. Yeah.
You can't.
No, the system is significantly larger than even the most insightful person thinks it is.
It's rigged. It's completely rigged. Yeah. No matter what you think you're doing, no matter what sort of impact you think you're having, you're not going to win.
Yeah. See, I made a little mistake, so I just started charging our clients $700 an hour. And that kind of solved my issue.
Yeah, I'm sorry we brought down your production environment. We're just going to increase your rate to let you understand how bad we feel about it, and you'll just pay us more.
Also, sorry about your dog.
Oh man!
Okay, sorry for derailing us like that.
Gentlemen, I am a little jet lag. I gotta be honest with you. When I was younger, I used to fly back and forth to the East Coast, not all the time, but on a fairly regular basis, and I could do it with little trouble at all. And my trick was always I always caught the red eye out to the East Coast. I would nap on the plane, but not really sleep. Get there and push through the day. And I always thought it was a nice approach because you didn't lose a day on the trip from west to east because here in the U.S., there's a 3-hour time difference. So the time jumps ahead 3 hours. So no matter when you leave the West Coast, it's about a 5-6 hour flight if it's a direct flight. And then on top of that, you lose 3 hours. So that's 8 hours of your day. So I would do a red eye, push through the next day. I would be pretty tired that first day, but I would push through to 8, 9 o'clock, go to sleep a long 11, 12-hour sleep, and then wake back up the next day and be right on schedule with the East Coast. Coming back west was always a little easier because you gain 3 hours. The last couple times I've flown back east, this last week when I went back for Laracon US and I went to New York, and when I went back to Atlanta for PHP Tech, I did that same approach, and man, every single time I'm dragging butt, man. I cannot. My body isn't as young as it used to be. I can't get that time adjustment like I used to. So I'm back here on the West Coast.
I still haven't run across that. I seem to bounce right into whatever the time zone is.
Yeah, I have the same thing. I don't really get jet lag at all. But I have a bizarro sleeping schedule.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to be able to do it. I don't know. This past year, all 3 trips, I have not been able to do it. I blame my age. Too old.
Well, we've been gone for a week because somebody had to take a nice long East Coast trip.
Somebody
or there was Thanksgiving on the day we normally record.
The whole country or a continent and take it over for themselves, and then have a yearly celebration on what nice people they were to take the land from indigenous people.
Yeah.
So
other people screwed things up, and we missed a week. And we thought we were going to miss 2, but fortunately, John was able to guilt trip Eric into doing an episode today.
I'm texting him, calling him. I'm like, will you wake up, please? I can't do this without you. We've done it once. Highest ratings ever. I don't like high ratings, so
yeah. We don't want to be too popular.
We should have continued that experiment and see if this was like again a high rated show. Well, I didn't do Lair Chat Live today. Lair Chat Live did a podcast today, and I canceled on them. I just I had too much going on, couldn't make it.
You didn't tell them that they could have thought we were recording Wednesday. Friday.
So it'll be interesting to see what their ratings are for this show, because I'm gonna have a real.
That might be their best episode yet too.
Exactly, it's gonna be through the roof. But they needed to be clickbaity, like Eric died. We talk about it.
Eric's no longer with us. So what did John? What did you do this week since you had some extra time, not having to be Eric's handler?
I was Eric's handler.
He handled me more than any other week. Yeah, the guy has my back when I'm not around.
What is it you're drinking, Eric?
That's just a little soda caffeine trying to wake me up a little bit. Sorry about that.
That's all right.
I literally just opened my eyes. I come stumbling into my office. I'm like, oh, it's almost a podcast. I come stumbling in my office and I see you guys typing in Slack. You ready to go? Yeah, let's just do this. I'm like, wait, guys, I'm here.
See, I knew that if we told the PHP 7.2 story, you would be furious, and so just the threat of that would get you onto the podcast.
Why would I be furious about that?
Because you already yelled at me for talking about it. I think your quote was, "Hey, I put that ticket on my side of the Trello board. Don't you dare."
This is true. I do believe I said that, and now I don't see it on there. Where's it at?
It's the first one.
No, is it?
HP
oh yeah, there it is. Holy crap! I'm so tired, man. Oh god, what day is it? Oh.
So I had an extra amount of free time this week because I didn't have a show to edit even.
And what
And-
did you do anything productive with your time, Thomas?
I went insane.
I saw that.
So you guys have seen. I've been telling you for a while. I had this idea for a company. I thought it was a pretty interesting concept. It's cryptocurrency based, and I've sort of been sitting on it for a couple months now since we started doing all the crypto talk stuff. But yeah, this weekend I just sort of went nuts and worked probably 48 hours through Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, and produced a sort of teaser page for my concept. So if you want to check out buskcoin.com, buskoin.com, there's my little
USK what?
buskoin.com.
OIN.com.
Yes,
So-
busk as in busking.
So the piece of advice I was going to give you, as you've already done. So I was going to say, hey, you need to have a mailing list. And
Yeah,
lo and behold, I log in or I go to the site and I see, hey, sign up here. So I just did.
well, thank you.
I don't see that on the landing page, but I trust that
It's at the
you-
very bottom.
That's a good spot for it. The furthest away as possible. Oh, I do see that. That's fair. Is this
Well,
what
I'm
would
not
you build
looking-
this with? Is this Laravel? What is this?
It says right below where your sign up page says
What it says?
built with
it just-
Jekyll.
what the hell is a Jekyll?
I didn't know this, but Kaylin, one of our coworkers, pointed me towards this, and it's just a template engine for producing static sites and getting them hosted through S3, which is pretty cool. It worked
I
out
didn't
really
realize
nicely.
you could host it through S3. So Jekyll, I know, was the platform you used to use to host the GitHub pages. You know, GitHub has that ability.
Right,
where
it still
you can
does that
host all-
too. Yeah.
I didn't realize you could host it through S3. That's kind of cool. Yeah, because S3 you can do a whole hosting of static sites, which is a very nice solution. We use it for a client. Every now and then they have to throw up some static websites, some like little brochure sites, and we'll throw it up on S3. But this Jekyll is very appealing. I've used it in the past to do some GitHub pages. Nothing fantastic. I have to look at. Was it hard getting that set up with S3?
The first time is a pain in the ass because there's these rules that you have to know. Like S3 doesn't support subdomains, and
Mhm.
the S3 bucket has to be named exactly the same as the domain name.
Yeah, that's true regardless whether it's Jekyll or not. So yeah,
Yeah,
I learned. I got hit with that one before.
And can
That's
you do
annoying.
can you do HTTPS?
I've been told you can. I haven't gone in and implemented that yet, but I'll probably be doing that this weekend. I mean, it's going to be another big weekend for me. I'm going to be doing a lot more development on the core platform and doing some tune-up on the website that was recommended.
Do you want to share some of your other big news?
Wait, hold on.
Well,
I'm not sure. Are we done talking about Buttcoin? What's it called? Buscoin?
Buscoin. No, it's not Buttcoin.
I'm still talking about Buscoin.
But
Yeah, so
Buscoin. Buscoin.
Normally,
Bus
like busking.
Got it.
Like busking for on the corner playing music.
Okay.
He's not in the hip scene. He doesn't know what busking is.
So normally when I get this sort of like burst of energy and inspiration, it goes for about 48 hours and then dies. But I managed to carry it through into the work week and actually forked and generated my Genesis block for the cryptocurrency itself. And I actually have a functional
Explain that.
cryptocurrency now.
What does that mean? You have your own Bitcoin?
I don't want to get into details on what the coin is because it's still ephemeral, but I have a blockchain-based cryptocurrency that is dedicated to Buscoin, and I have the miners and wallet system forked out from an existing project.
That sounds
Um,
incredibly complex.
It's
Was
not.
that hard? No.
No, it's
Huh.
it's a terminology race, where you just have to go through the process and then figure out what the hell it is that you're changing, and then change it to meet the values of your expectation, and then test it. And things like coin maturation times. And I'm used to crypto mining, where you just run a thing and it just silently goes off in the background and does its own thing, and not understanding a word that it says on the screen. But to do this, I had to learn what the words meant, and I had to learn. Yeah, it's crazy, right? So I had to teach myself quite a bit over a surprisingly short period of time, and now I'm at a point where I just sort of don't know what's next. I know what I need to do development wise, software wise, but as a business, I'm sort of at a loss.
So, how far out do you think you are from actually having a working extension or plugin?
I'm not really sure at this point. I started digging into
Did-
one of my inspirations. Um, there's a lot of open source stuff out there for these kinds of coin projects, and there is an extension that I want to model mine after, but boy, it is not easy. It's not as complex as I thought it might be, but it's a lot of JavaScript that I don't know at all.
Now, did you explain exactly what the concept was behind Buscoin and how it's going to work?
I've done that 3 times today. I keep getting calls from parents and parent-in-laws saying, "What is this thing you put on Facebook?"
Yeah, but have you done it for our podcast listeners?
No, I haven't.
Maybe we should.
Yeah.
Maybe.
So the idea is generally taking. We talked in the past about. John looks like he pooped himself.
He dropped something. He was just seeing if
I did.
anybody noticed.
We talked in the past about what a company called CoinHive was doing, which was JavaScript-based mining for cryptocurrencies on websites. And people sort of universally hated that. They did not want websites mining currency on their machine and got very upset about it. But my response to it was, well, if I was choosing to do it for the website, then I'd be fine with it. If I was given that input and that information, they said, yeah, while you're here, we're just going to use 7% of your CPU idle cycles, and it'll make sure that the website stays up. It'll make sure we have enough cash to keep running. If that process was transparent to end users, then I think end users would be much more willing to accept it. So that's the whole concept behind this plugin, is that the plugin is running and generating some kind of token value on your computer, and any content creators or websites that you wanted to just contribute to, you could spend these tokens on. So websites like Twitch have these gems that you can buy 1,000 for $10, and then you can spend them on your favorite Twitch streamers. The idea here is that you don't have to invest any money into it. You just let the CPU idle time make gems for you, and then you can throw those at anyone who is participating or wants it.
So if I hit a site that uses your service and I start generating gems, it's not necessarily going directly to that site. I decide
You're
later
always, yeah, as long as your browser's running, you're generating gems or points or whatever, and they go
So
into a wallet. It's a real crypto
generate
wallet.
Coins.
Yeah.
You don't want to use their terms. You don't want to use.
I'm not going to
Twitch's
use their terms. I need to come up with my own terminology for it.
Well,
But the
plus
idea is
coins. Yeah.
I do want to abstract value away from these objects, though. I don't want people to see them as some way of getting rich quick, because this is a community endeavor. One person can donate 25 cents, but 1,000 people can donate significantly more collectively. And
so
I want to,
as a open source content creator, I don't. There's nothing I need to do. I just need to hope for that generosity from people who are already using the plugin, who are on this platform, just to recognize me and say, okay, I'm gonna send Eric some bus coins.
Yeah, so all you have to do as a content creator is have a wallet. And there's going to be multiple ways of embedding that on either your own website or on YouTube or Twitch. And where'd he go?
I don't know.
So there will be a number of ways of somehow telling the consumer, hey, this person for this site that you're on or this page that you're on is accepting Buscoin, so you can throw them 10 Buscoin if you want. And there's a lot of metrics work that I have to do, where how many do you make a day and what does that represent in real money? How do I adjust the difficulty curves so that people are getting what feels like a rewarding amount out of their computer time? But my number one goal is to give the community a power that somebody, CoinHive or Pirate Bay or whatever, tried to take away. They tried to say, I want your idle time and you're not going to notice.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say your idle time has value and you can use it if you want to. So this is a way of monetizing your idle time in a way that will contribute to content creators.
Very nice. Very, very nice idea.
How will, out of curiosity, how will the coins have value in the future?
I have a couple different models for that right now. The first one is the inherent model of cryptocurrency, which is investment and trust. So the reason I've forked a separate currency and started a whole new branch is because I want my currency to represent that trust in this specific project. I want people to be investing in the project as conceptually, but further down, if there's a market for people to buy bus coins and then spend them on people watching an advertisement or filling out a survey, so that the person who fills out the survey gets the coins that were spent, then that will inject a monetary value into the market inherently. The bus coin, advertising like that doesn't involve the bus coin corporation or group or business. We don't touch it. They're just buying it off of a trading site and then spending it on a platform of their own choosing to give it back to consumers.
Mm-hmm.
So there's several models for injecting real value into it.
Right. I don't mean to derail your Buscoin platform. I'm just making sure I have an understanding of what you're accomplishing, and it's odd because this hit my stream about a week or two ago, and I kind of made a note to talk about it. Then I saw you do your thing because you shared it with us earlier last week, what you were working on. I'm like, wow. At first I thought maybe it was this. I'm like, did I just stumble onto Thomas's project and not know it? And then I realized, no, it was something else. Have you looked at Utopian, Utopian.io? Have I shared that with you? So it's UTOPIAN.io.
Oh, you did share this with me.
Yeah, I'm like, I had hit this. I'm like, wow. I'm like, I think this is what Thomas is working on. This looks really cool because it sounded really, really similar to what you were explaining. Is this kind of the same concept, or are they doing something different here?
I'm not sure how they're getting the coin value into the consumer's hands here.
Uh-huh.
So they have a rewards thing.
Yeah. All right. Well, we don't need to talk about them if it's. I just wonder if in your research you had done some research on this and you had some differences or not. But if you haven't, it's not really probably worth talking about.
There is another project that I address in the frequently asked questions on the website. This idea isn't wholly original. This isn't something that nobody has come up with in any part whatsoever. There are a lot of parts of this that have been thought up in the past. My big thing here is that this is driven by a community, driven by people. No ICO is one of my big things right now. ICOs are shifty and money grabby and don't promise anything. So I really want to go off of what the community says and does and tells me to do, because I'm not in it to get rich. I'm in it to provide a new outlet to content creators and people who have no means of monetizing. I mean, the adpocalypse on YouTube has shown that there's this huge problem, this huge diaspora between content creators and advertisers, and to abstract that away is one of my big goals.
So are you going to, I guess the big question is, are you dog fooding this? Is BuzzCoin going to just generate revenue somehow through its platform, or is it going to be dependent on the contributions of the users of the platform?
For the time being, it's going to be dependent on the contributions of the users. This is one of the areas where I'm stuck. Is as a business, I don't know what getting an investor looks like. I don't know what angel investors contribute, how much of the company they want, or how that's even done. You know what I mean?
I gotta be honest with you. Knowing your morality, where you stand on open source and contributing and making sure content creators get some revenue stream, and what you're trying to accomplish with BuzzCoin, I really seriously think that's the wrong avenue to even be thinking about it. As far as angel investors and investors, VC.
Hey. Shh. I'm going to Shark Tank him here.
He is. You're the other side of the Shark Tank.
I'll give you $100 for 50%.
And I'm 100% in charge. That's no, but I think dog fooding this is really the only way to go. I mean, I think that will establish that trust in the community, where you say, hey, this platform lives based on the contributions of the people who use it, and just let that grow, see if it happens.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the primary source of income is going to be an initial batch of coins that are generated privately and kept on a wallet or series of wallets that are contributing to the creation of the company, which I guess is an ICO, kind of. Except that I'm not going to be doing like an initial public, hey, buy coins. I'm just going to launch the system when it's ready to launch. And then once the system is launched, if people want to buy coins, knock yourselves out. Mine for them, buy them.
Fantastic. Well, this sounds really exciting, Thomas. I wish you all the luck, and if you do become rich and famous off it, we will be suing you later in life as being part of the creators of it. So just be aware of that. This has been established on this public forum on PHP Ugly.
Well aware.
John and I do have a stake in this company, albeit fake, but.
That's still a legal foundation. Fake is still a legal precedence.
Talking about cryptocurrency, who here is like mind blown at what Bitcoin is at right now? I mean, it broke 10K.
No, it broke 11K.
Yeah, it broke 11K.
11K?
Yeah.
Where's the ceiling on this thing? I mean, it's not like a stock, right? It can't split. I mean, where's the ceiling on this? It's got to top out somewhere.
Not necessarily. I mean, they're constantly generating more coins. I've heard analysts say it could go to $1 million a coin eventually.
Well, John McAfee, the famously insane person who invented McAfee antivirus, says that he expects it to hit 1 million in 2020.
Wow.
And that if it doesn't,
that's aggressive. That's
and that if it doesn't, he'll eat his own dick.
Stop it. Stop.
Do you want me to quote him here?
No, I really don't.
When I predicted
I really
Bitcoin at
don't want you to
500,000
quote
at the end of 2020, it used a model that predicted 5,000 at the end of 2017. BTC has now accelerated much faster than my model assumptions. I now predict Bitcoin at 1 million by the end of 2020. I will still eat my dick if wrong. I mean, he is notoriously crazy.
All right, with that statement said, all dicks aside, with that statement said, how if you had the cash, would you at whatever it's at right now, 11K?
Well, not right now. It's at 9,600, but it hit 11K yesterday.
Bye.
All right, let's round it off at 10K. Would you buy 5 or 6 Bitcoin if you had $50,000? Not necessarily burning a hole in your pocket. Maybe like, well, I got $50,000. I was saving for a house or putting a kid through college. I'm going to buy Bitcoin. Would you do that?
Absolutely.
Really?
Oh yeah, without a thought.
If I had to have the money for something specific. Like,
God, we just invested a significant amount of money in the company. Are you telling me we should have bought Bitcoin instead? Is that what
I'm not? No, I'm not.
Okay, good. Because I really hope donationmatch.com does better than Bitcoin.
It's Bitcoin to me right now. If you're using it as an investment strategy, it's purely disposable income. You're putting money out there, and if it never comes back, you're fine with that. If you're putting life savings into it, I'm sorry, I don't
disagree.
That's a great statement. I'm just curious. I want to expand on that a little bit. You said if you're using Bitcoin as an investment strategy at this stage of the game, what else would you be using Bitcoin for? Because it's not.
When I say that, yes, we're putting in a tiny bit of every week or month. I forget what it is, but it's money that we're not like dependent on.
Right.
To me, investing, if I had to have this money 10, 15, 20 years down the road to retire on, I don't know where this is going to be in that time frame.
Well, do you manage your 401k though?
No. I mean, no.
So that's the same deal. Imagine if your 401k was just one stock and you only had the option to buy or sell. I mean, if you're going to invest in the long term, then investing in any single format is terrible advice.
That's true.
The problem for me is that Bitcoin, if you spend the time understanding what affects the long-term prices of it, why people are investing in it, then you can know when to get out before a big crash, just at the same time as everyone else who knows to get out before a big crash. There are all these crazy models for how to invest in Bitcoin that work quite well, but you have to know such an amazing amount of information to use them. You know, inverted cross prediction analysts and sideways triangle scale scopes.
I think from a practical perspective, I as a tech geek see the value in Bitcoin. That's why I have invested money into Bitcoin. I originally did it because I wanted to leverage the platform. I thought for sure more sites. I thought for sure by now more sites would have adopted Bitcoin, and I would be able to buy goods or buy services with
more sites
Bitcoin.
have than you think.
No, I'm not saying that don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that they're not out there, but I honestly thought Amazon would Bitcoin. But yeah,
Amazon does.
What?
Amazon, you can pay for things on Amazon through Bitcoin.
No, you can't. It's not a payment option.
I'm sorry. It's a coming soon payment option.
Okay, don't derail me when I'm trying to make a point. God damn it! So
And that supposedly that was debunked on October 1st of this year.
The article I read was published October 26th.
Again, Thomas with fake news. Fake news, Thomas. Doom and gloom, Thomas. Amazon doesn't accept Bitcoin, and there's no official word on when they will, or if they will. Newegg does, by the way, if anybody's interested. Newegg does accept Bitcoin. Anyways, that wasn't any of my point. I originally started buying Bitcoin because I thought it was going to be the online currency to use. I now purchase Bitcoin because I see the growth behind it. And again, speaking as maybe a futurist, but more of a tech person, Bitcoin makes a lot of sense to me in the sense that in a global economy, it levels the playing field. In the fact that a Bitcoin is a Bitcoin is a Bitcoin, there's no translation between one continent to another continent. There's no government. There's no one government behind it, or there's no government behind it who can tax it and manipulate it how they feel fit.
Well, there might be.
I always thought,
but at least it's secret.
Really makes a lot of sense. Okay, well, if there is, I don't care. It's a universal platform that's being adopted. And I thought, man, this really makes a lot of sense. That's kind of why I'm still in it. But what I still have difficulty understanding is what is driving that value, because I'm still not seeing the ability to use Bitcoin growing at the rate that the value of Bitcoin is growing, if that makes sense.
But you're stuck here in America like the rest of us, where we have a very stable currency, at least stable in our eyes.
Yeah.
From my understanding, this is way more popular overseas.
It's huge in China. It's enormous. And things like money transfers.
I think it's pretty big in some of the African countries as well.
Absolutely. I was reading about money transfers from America to Venezuela, and it could be $40 to transfer $500 to Venezuela.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's $6 in transaction fees for Bitcoin. So, how do you argue that? I mean,
I don't. But are you saying that's where it's being used? Like that's where the value is being generated?
That's one of them. I mean, to say where is money being used is such a broad question. The fact that Bitcoin has become so synonymous with money at this point means that it's succeeded. That it is a way of either transferring money or storing money in a non-fiat, non-government organization. I mean, one of the big things in Silicon Valley is disruptive technology. Is this technology disruptive? And Bitcoin is one of the most disruptive things that's ever been invented. It's basically goes to the list system, the ledger system, the double ledger system, and then Bitcoin. It's like the last time we had innovation in banking of this scale was a couple thousand years ago. And
let's be clear that the major drivers of the price is not America. We're not influencing the price of Bitcoin right now. It's all overseas.
Now here's a side note.
Get off the cryptocurrency at some point.
We'll get off this in 1 second. But I told you guys, I registered my domain the other day, buskoin.com, buskoin.com. I made the mistake of not privatizing the Whois record.
No,
because the last time I registered a domain name, no one cared.
How did you register? Who'd you use?
Namecheap.
See, you Namecheap guys, man. John's a Namecheap guy.
They're cheap.
Hover.com. Hover.com.
So here's the thing, though. It turns out that people figured out that they can do automated scrapes of Whois records and new domain registrations.
Mm-hmm.
I got 35 phone calls between 7:30 a.m. and 10 o'clock that night
Phone
from
calls.
phone calls to my cell phone. 35. The next day I got 15, and now it's down to about 2 a day. But I mean, I could identify at this point what part of India you were raised in by hearing you say, "Hello, sir, I'm talking about your domain name," because I got so many Indian tech firms asking me if I wanted a website built. I mean, so many.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm not a morning person. That 7:30 phone call to ask me about the domain I just registered was unwelcome.
I know it's funny because we have our Diego Dev business, and the core of our business is doing contract work for people to create applications and web applications, and we're constantly bombarded with emails. Diego Dev sounds like a very interesting business. I was looking into you. Would you be interested in us developing a website for you? I'm like, you didn't look into us then.
Yeah,
because it's kind of what we do.
My favorite was, we see your site is built on Laravel. We're Laravel experts. Can we build your website for you? It's like,
if you see that I have a
website that says that's what we do.
Not even that. If you see that I have a Laravel website, why would I need a web developer? I clearly already have one. I had people calling me asking me to build a website for me, and I'm like, I have a website. It's up. It's there.
Like, visit the domain. Do you not see it's not parked? It's not a parked domain.
You guys would lose your mind if you saw my phone. The number of missed calls or skipped calls is just ridiculous.
All right.
Let's talk PHP
we have some
for a
PHP
little bit.
news. Yeah, we have some PHP news.
Yeah, we have actual PHP news.
Yeah.
I think we're out of time, though. This will have to wait for next week.
I'm going to refresh my beer. But Eric, this is your ticket. You've claimed ownership over it.
Yeah, no, totally. This is totally on me.
Tell us what we need to know.
Well, I will as soon as the link opens.
Well, Thomas is walking away to get a beer. I feel like I should
Tech
too.
professionals.
Do you need a beer, John? Go get a beer. I got the next 30 seconds.
No, because I have to go all the way to the garage, I think.
Oh, you loser. Anyways, breaking news. Today, November 30th, 2017, PHP 7.2 was officially released. I don't know if that's on schedule or if that's ahead of schedule. It feels like that's a little ahead of schedule, but regardless, that's pretty cool.
Seems right around. I think I was thinking early December, so maybe it's a little early.
Yeah, it feels like it's a little ahead of schedule. And I know, John, maybe you can explain a little bit more. There's the more significant thing with PHP 7.2 has something to do with security. Can you know what that is?
What do I?
What?
Oh, are you?
Do I know what that is?
Yeah, I think Thomas, you know what it is too, right? Do I need to look it up?
They incorporated libsodium into the core
as the default, right? Isn't libsodium like the default encryption algorithm or whatever it is? Whatever libsodium does.
Now making encryption easier and using best practices of 2017.
And PHP is the first language to do this.
Correct.
As far as adding it to its core.
Yeah, but everyone will still hate us.
Yeah. I think that PHP hate is ramping up again. As a PHP developer, I know why. We've gone years of people making fun of, we're not real developers and PHP as a platform, but it seemed to had calmed down over the years, and now it's ramping back up. You say you think you know why? Why?
Yeah, because we still have jobs.
That's true.
I think there's a lot of Ruby devs out there who are just, fuck PHP, man. It's not cool.
Oh man, I tell you what, I get so conflicted on this topic. I'm pretty sure I shared with you before. As a champion of PHP or a person who tries to build the PHP community, and I'm speaking of myself, and John, I'm sure does too, but I'm speaking specifically of myself. I'm always trying to be inclusive. I want more people to learn PHP. I want more people to embrace PHP. But when I see these fantastically smart developers on other platforms slamming PHP, there's a little part of me that says, good. I hope he never comes over to PHP because I don't want to compete with him on my platform because he's really fucking good at what he does, and I really don't want him on PHP. So I get so conflicted.
I had that. I had a junior dev that we hired once who was brought in to do a simple project, and he churned out a couple polymorphic classes for it, and I just went, oh, you fucking asshole. Really had to dance on your first one?
Yeah.
You know, my favorite new feature of 7.2 is?
What's that?
Trailing function argument commas.
Do explain.
Nope. That's proposed for 7.3.
Damn it, Thomas!
Damn it!
You're
my
just
favorite.
Not good at your job. You know that. What are you looking
Hold on.
for in the
Let me
next version of PHP?
Start over. Hold on, I'm looking it up.
I'm pulling it up now too, because I just can't trust you anymore. It hurts.
How did I get that so wrong?
It totally says 7.3 on the freaking link
Right
you
on the-
added.
Right on the. Damn it!
It's actually in it. I think it's already part of 7.3, but that's not what was released. Problem is, we're not editing this.
This is why we
not going to make it into the episode.
This is why we call it PHP ugly.
Oh man.
Argument type declarations. No, that's not it. Object return type declarations is pretty nice.
Are we talking about 7.2 again, or are we still looking
7.2.
at 7.3 features?
Trailing commas in the list syntax has been added. So list now more closely matches array behavior.
I just learned that. Argon 2 is now the default password instead of bcrypt.
Well,
yeah, that's libsodium.
Yeah. Yeah, Thomas, that's libsodium. Or John.
Well,
what does
I
that?
said I learned something new. Jeez.
I understand this is on new news to you. What is the difference between bcrypt and Argon 2? John, do you know what that is?
I do not. Unlike bcrypt, which just takes a single cost factor, Argon 2 is parameterized by 3 distinct factors: a memory cost that defines memory usage, a time cost that defines the execution time of the algorithm and the number of iterations, and a parallelism factor which defines the number of parallel threads.
Yeah. So it's just adding to the complexity. I see.
Yeah. I guess you're more able to fine-tune how complex it is to generate your passwords, which is really cool.
That is. That's very, very cool.
Yeah. And trailing commas in lists.
In 7.3.
Thomas has a thing about commas apparently.
So we're talking about 7.2 being released, and we're all just learning about the new features. That's sad.
I thought I had them all. I thought I had a list of new features, but they're all for 7.3.
All right, so I'm gonna try and put this derailed train back on the tracks.
Rescue us, please.
Okay, there are a couple of incompatibilities that you need to check with upgrade to 7.2 as well. Sorry, I just want to throw that out there. I just want everybody to know it's not a smooth upgrade.
Do it blindly.
Well, that's the way I do it. Anyway, Eric brought up a good question with our group a couple weeks ago when we were doing our little co-working thing, and it hit me this past week. So he brought up, do you dream code?
Ah, yes.
And
No.
it seems to happen to me when I get deep into a new feature.
Did you say no, Thomas? Was that your answer to it?
That was his answer.
Okay, go ahead, Jeff.
I'm weird though.
But it does happen to me, especially I have a new feature I'm building for a client, and it's just I'm working on it right up until I go to bed. So I'll normally work till 12:30 easily, and then walk away, go straight to bed, and then I have trouble sleeping all night, or like my thoughts and dreams are all about that project, whether it's the code I'm working on or some of the complexities of it and how I can do things. And this week has been just horrible as far as sleep goes because of that.
Well, I can't sleep. I mean, I've been burning the midnight oil this week, and I just can't fall asleep. But
So
I don't.
You just don't dream at all because you're a heartless, soulless individual. I
don't dream at all because I have aphantasia, but that's its own thing. If you want to look it up and care.
I don't.
If I don't look it up, does that mean I don't care?
I'm good with both those, actually.
Yeah, they're both fair answers.
What's weird about that question, and I asked it because obviously I have that. Like, I legitimately dream about coding. And not only do I dream about coding, but I see the code. One recently I had actually included you, Thomas. And you were explaining to me. Now, I still have not used it. I have done nothing with it. But you're coding, we're pair programming, and you're showing me Tailwind. And I'm seeing the code. And I'm like, I remember a specific part of me saying, okay, well, if you're telling me that, I should just be able to do this. And I'm typing something out to see if it works. The weird thing about that, and I guess it's an urban legend, and I'm trying to remember exactly how I see the code.
You're
like,
always in his thoughts, yes.
If I'm seeing it on the screen, which is how I'm processing it, remembering back that I see it on the screen, but maybe I don't. But I always thought it was one of the things about dreaming was that you couldn't read in your dream. Like, that's one of the ways to tell you're dreaming, is that you can't actually read anything in your dream.
I've never heard that in my life.
Oh, you haven't?
It's a myth. It's not true.
That's a myth. Okay, all right. Because I mean, as far as I know, it was true with that one exception. It's like I can't recall ever being able to read in a dream before, but I definitely recall coding in my dream.
If reading is the subject of the dream, then you can. If it's not, then it doesn't exist. Like, it's a lucid dreaming technique. I'm not going to waste a whole lot of time here, but if you're having a dream and you're trying to do lucid dreaming, then look for something that should have a brand name or a logo on it, and it won't, and that's how you'll know you're dreaming. But if you're dreaming about reading or dreaming about brand names, then that doesn't work. That doesn't occur. It's only if you're dreaming about playing baseball and then you look at the lettering on the baseball because you thought to look at the lettering.
Okay. That might explain it. But I straight up dream about coding, and I can see the code in my head. You know, as I'm dreaming, I see the code, and it's it doesn't bother me. I mean, it's not like a John situation where it's a trigger or it's a flag that I'm under stress or overworked or anything. It's just a
way to call him out. Jesus.
It's just dreaming. I have a bad life at home. My family situation is not great. I'm not saying like that.
It's not like John, where if I have that kind of dream, it means my wife's cheating on me. It's totally different kind of dream.
Wait, she is?
No.
Again?
No.
What?
No.
Huh? Oh,
John.
wait. We're not going down that path? Oh, I'm sorry. All right.
I don't have
I
don't have visual. My brain doesn't do visual. The visual connection to my eyes
Groin. Oh, your eyes. You were pointing at your eyes there, Thomas.
This is
That
the
was
aphantasia thing.
That was my beard. Yeah,
Oh.
aphantasia. Zai, I can't picture things in my head.
So if we didn't have cameras on right now and I said, what do I look like? You couldn't tell me what I look like?
I'd be pretty mystified.
I try to forget what you look like every day. What does that mean? Did I not need to say that? I'm sorry. Bad news for anybody looking to upgrade to PHP 7.2. They've discontinued support for NetWare. So all you NetWare people out there running PHP 7.1.
Wondering where you were going with that.
You tapped out. Wait, am I having a different podcast in my head again? I apologize.
Hey, you guys know friend of the show, Michael Drinda.
The Aussie?
We do.
The coder from Down Under? No, that
The coder from Down Over?
Up. Worked better in my head. I should have tried to dream about that one.
The fact that
what?
The Kunda from Down Under?
The fact that he's Australian actually is very important to this story because he has been working on a secret project and has officially announced that he is launching Laracon AU.
AU, buddy.
AU for Australia.
Yes.
Is that what AU means? I thought that was gold.
Yes, Michael is part of the inner circle.
I thought he was starting a new coin. Laracon
he's
gold.
part of the Laravel Golden Circle. They all sit around.
Yes, here's your umbrella and your top hat.
It's a completely supported, blessed Laravel conference in Australia. I'm proud of the guy.
He doesn't have a history of pissing off the Laravel community like some other conferences do.
Yeah, no, it's like a natural thing for me. I piss off pretty much anybody I think I'm supporting.
So basically, after listening to this episode, it's not going to be friend of the show, Michael Dorinda.
No, I mean, as long as it's an unofficial title, he's good.
Yeah.
The moment he acknowledges, then he's in trouble.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like he can't let us know that's his monarch because then we know he heard it. So
yeah, but I do have to this week I have to give Taylor Otwell huge props. He wrote an article in Medium.
Oh, hold on! You're moving ahead too fast.
Slow down.
So PHP. Jesus Christ!
That's my story.
Well, you got to go this order. Jesus.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I'm not following the Trello board, which I'm the only one who uses.
Well, you're moving on from Laracon AU too quickly. If we're going to give him a plug, let's give him a plug. Right? Am I wrong?
No, I thought that was it. I thought Michael Dorinda, Laracon AU, laracon.com.au.
Okay, that's what I was
looking for. AU on Twitter.
You didn't give him anywhere to go, and I think isn't Laracon.au now a site? Is that not a site now? No?
He just said that.
I don't think it's laracon.com.au. I don't think laracon.au is a domain. Is a real top level domain name.
Right. So I don't. It's going to be held in Sydney, Australia. Just FYI, let me just pound this out real quick since the guys don't want to participate. It's going to be held in Sydney, Australia. I don't think a date has been set yet, but it's going to be October 2018, around that time. I don't think.
I thought you were just going to pick a date for it. Just give them a date. That's what it is now. Now you got it.
It's going to be October.
September 19th.
We'll call it October 26th. Yeah, it'll be October 26th. So he's obviously he's just putting all this stuff together. I'm actually pretty excited about this. Laracon AU. Sydney, Australia, 2018, October. Clearly doesn't have a speaker. I imagine, since I know his relationship with Taylor and the Laravel community, that he'll probably have some heavy hitters there. I wouldn't be completely surprised at all if Taylor himself made the trip out there to speak. So if you're in that hemisphere of the world and you don't feel like traveling, Laricon AU. You know, if you don't feel like coming to San Diego in September, which I'm not sure why you wouldn't, but you know, I'm just saying. What did I hijack that with Wave PHP? No, I never said Wave PHP, so it's fine. I just said Laricon.
WavePHP.com.
No one said wavephp.com. Don't worry.
We didn't say wavephp.com. Did I say that?
No one did. No one did.
I mean, if we did, we can edit it. I'm sure it'll get edited. Wavephp.com. September
right to the very
20.
beginning of the show.
Yeah. No, we're good. I'm pretty sure we've been pretty clear that we weren't hijacking that story with wavephp.com. That was strictly about Laricon Wave PHP. Laricon AU. Laricon.com.au. Probably better to follow them on Twitter at Laricon AU. Great work, Mr.
We're in no way an authority for anything for anyone.
I hope this doesn't mean that you're canceling your trip to San Diego for wavephp.com.
In addition to Laricon AU, Laricon US also announced their 2018 destination, which we were trying so hard to get Laricon to come to San Diego. Eric was, not we. That was his thing.
You don't have to distance yourself.
I'm trying to. Well, I'm distant. Never mind. Cancel.
Yes. And I have raised some red flags about this announcement. So Laricon US talked about the venue.
Don't poo-poo it, Jesus.
Well, I'm not poo-pooing. I'm being honest because honestly, I've already had a couple people ask me if I'm going, and I don't. It's not a given I'm going to this. First thing, if I go to a Laricon, if I go to a Laravel conference next year, I'm very inclined to either go to Laricon EU or check out Laricon AU, just because I want that experience. I want that experience of going to a conference in another country. Laricon EU looks very. I mean, obviously that's established. It's in a great location, great place to go visit. I think the wife would go with me there. Same thing with Sydney, but it is a first year conference in Sydney, and not all first year conferences can be as good as Wave PHP. So, but I would definitely go to Laricon AU as well. Laricon US, obviously the easier of the three to get to if I were to go to Laravel conference next year. But the venue that they announced was this museum in Chicago. And my concerns that I raised with some of my friends is, okay, so once again, we're not having the conference at a hotel, which is really common for the Laravel conferences. They're rarely at a hotel, but they're typically around a hotel. So every Laravel conference I've gone to in Kentucky and in New York, we've seen everybody's. There's been the conference hotel, either officially or unofficially. There's been a conference hotel, and it's been within walking distance of the conference. I don't see that as being the case for this one. This museum I pulled up on the map is nowhere really close to a hotel. I mean, it's not far. They're hotels within like a couple miles, maybe even a mile, but it's definitely not walking distance. It's not waking up at 7:30 and being there for the first talk at 8 or 9 o'clock or whatever the first talk would be, just by throwing on some shoes and walking there. So it's like, okay, is the thought? I'm curious if there's the idea of a shuttle. I've been to conferences before, big conferences typically, where they've offered shuttle services from various hotels to a conference. I don't know if hasn't been any talk about a shuttle service. If the idea is people are going to Uber it or rent cars, that's probably my biggest pain point right now. Looking at this conference is, okay, how am I getting there the couple of days? It's like, I don't particularly want to rent a car, and I don't want to Uber every day. And if you go to a conference, especially if you're like really in the business, a lot of times you go to conferences, you're not sitting there through all the talks. You're meeting clients, you're meeting potential clients, you're meeting other developers. You guys are you're grabbing a bite to eat, or you're grabbing a couple of drinks while the conference is going on.
You're drinking a lot.
Yeah, and I don't see how that's going to work in this. I mean, maybe there's a cafeteria or something in the museum. I am assuming there is, but I don't know. It's weird. There's a lot of questions that I need answered before I would commit to going to that conference.
Yeah, the only conferences I've been to, PHP conferences, they've always been in hotels, except for Laracon. And then Bowl Expo, which is a bowling conference, was either in Vegas, where there's obviously hotels everywhere, or Orlando. Same thing. It's at the convention center in Orlando, and hotels readily accessible. So that's what I'm used to when it comes to conferences.
I have no problem with it. I think it's a wonderful choice, and unfortunately, I just won't be able to make it this year.
Why is that? Pretty far off in the distance.
Yeah, I just have no interest.
But you also didn't make it this year. And
no, I didn't.
You're a jerk. I fully support this conference. I think it's a fantastic conference. I'm just not going because I'm not interested.
Well, like we've said in previous podcasts, we're sort of at the peak of our Laravel knowledge. We know the framework pretty inside and out at this point.
But that's not. Yeah, I mean, okay, no, that's true, but that's not necessarily why you go to conferences. I don't know.
If I was going to go to a conference for the other reasons, I'd go to a PHP vanilla conference.
And that's what I was going to say too. Even coming from that angle, with the exception of the business angle of meeting clients, meeting developers, the social angle of it, even from the learning perspective, just looking through the speaker list, it's like, okay, same speakers, same, kind of retreading the same kind of speakers, and probably the same sort of talks. There's not enough new there to get that excited about it right now.
It's a real conundrum for Laravel, because what do you do when Jeffrey Way has covered everything? Now what do you talk about?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I mean, you're not even talking about conferences. It's like, yeah, that guy does such a good job at covering everything.
Literally
Laravel.
Everything.
Yeah.
And then he ran out of Laravel stuff and started doing JavaScript, and then started doing testing, and then went back to JavaScript, and then like updates on what Laravel does next. And he covers. Laracasts is such a massive collection, just brain dump of information, and it's so well done. What do you have conferences for
it's
now?
It's almost too well done. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not going to go to Laracon and learn something new about collections that's not covered on Laracasts.
Mm-hmm. You were going to say something, John?
Nope.
Okay, good job. That's why we bring you here. Okay, Thomas, I cut you off. You were leading to another story that I think is important.
Taylor did write a fantastic post on Medium that he titled "My Mental Health Tool Belt." And as much as I think Medium is a stupid platform, he did write a great article. And I think he wrote an article that's more approachable for a lot of developers than a lot of the other mental health stuff. Where, yeah, I've seen a lot of coder mental health stuff where they're basically yelling at the audience, "It's real. The problems are real. These things actually happen." And Taylor's approach here is just saying, yes, these problems are real, but here is how you maintain a lifestyle that reduces the stress, a lifestyle that puts you in touch with yourself and how to understand the stresses that you're dealing with. It's not just trying to convince people that the problem is real. It's trying to say every part of your day is part of dealing with the problem. It's what you eat. It's how you work out. It's how you spend your free time. It's how you clean your room. He's making small points that have big impact, and I really enjoyed this article.
Yeah, that small wins, clean up room and small wins. One one of my old bosses used to tell me that priests were told they needed to mow the lawn just to have something that they could start and end and have a sense of accomplishment and completing a task, because they're so often just, in discussions with people and being mentors, or for lack of a better word, psychiatrists to parishioners, right? So they don't often have that sense of accomplishment. So just that act of mowing the lawn. So his Taylor's recommendation of cleaning up your room that's what it is. It's a small win. You've been able to accomplish something.
Yeah. My wife recently got a new job, and she said, well, I'm working during the day now, so I need you to unload the dishwasher in the morning when you get up, and while you're making your breakfast or whatever, just get the dishwasher unloaded while I'm gone. So I wake up, the dishwasher is loaded full, they're all clean, and part of my morning routine is making sure that when my wife comes home, the dishes are put away and everything's ready for the day to continue. And it's totally a small win for me. I love doing the dishes in the morning. She'll forget to turn the dishwasher on, and for me, I get to turn it on in the morning and then do the dishes in the afternoon when I have lunch. And I get to say, hey, you left the dishwasher without turning it on. And she goes, oh, I'm sorry. I'm like, hey, it's no problem. It's like, it's a small wins.
It's no problem. I just thought I'd throw that in your face to let you know that you
yeah. You fucked up again, and I had to cover for your ass.
Yeah, and I totally get
the other night when my wife left the oven on after cooking, I should have told her, like, hey, you left the oven on. I turned it off. Don't worry.
House.
Oh
yeah,
no,
we still have a house thanks to me. But
you just tell her. You tell her I left the oven
dinner
on. You should probably check it now.
No, but I totally get this. I actually take a lot of pride in my office, and I've been trying to get more into like the woodworking, and I built all these shelves and stuff in my office. And recently,
built your desk. You built that pipe desk.
Yeah, and recently my wife and I combined offices, and we moved into another space in the house, which has really made me out of sorts because we haven't had we're combining our things from our two offices into one office. I don't have things in places where I want them. Things just aren't in place in general right now. I mean, they're all over they're still in boxes, and we're still trying to figure out where we're putting things. And it really leaves me out of sorts. And my kind of goal this weekend is, okay, I've got to get some sort of structure and organization to this office situation this weekend, because this is getting, it's getting problematic for me. So I totally get that. I also liked his little talk about, again, going back to Taylor's post about positive visualization. But the one thing I think is really interesting in this article is, if you read through it, what an impact him having kids made on that. Like, this all came about because he had kids, and he started going through these scenarios of if God forbid, I don't even go into
he does know. Yeah, he does say, "What if I die?"
Yeah, that sort of thing, and he keeps referencing what a influence the children have on him and his well-being. And I think that holds true as well. It's like, when you're young, even if you're married, you can so easily be kind of, go off and not really care about consequences. But once you have those kids, that adds so much stress to your life, being responsible for another living soul who can't defend itself.
Yeah.
I mean, my kids, again, they're older. They're young adults now. They don't need to be babied. They basically live their own life. They can go off. They're of age. They're over 18. They're in college. They can do whatever they want to do. And I still feel that. I still feel like, so much of the way I manage things is to make sure things are good for them. And I don't know, that just hit home with me when I saw that. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, I can relate to that.
Yeah, so that'll be up on the subreddit, and naturally, a conversation about mental health brings us to everyone's favorite section of the podcast, doom and gloom.
You know, it's my favorite section because it usually means we're just about done. Are we done? What's doom and gloom?
It's an especially sad one today.
Okay.
It's been announced that CompuServe's forums, which do still exist, are being shut down.
No. Well, you know they're trying to upgrade to 7.2 and they run on NetWare, so that won't be supported. So they had to shut down.
Despite being bought by AOL in 1998, the forums actually, amazingly enough, still exist. If you don't know what CompuServe is, it was an early attempt at the World Wide Web before the World Wide Web existed. And it's just such a shame to see all these great ancient services that have no users finally going away.
I was a CompuServe user back in the day.
I was too. Where your username was a long number?
That I don't remember, but I'm going back
Oh,
to when I was in high school. So
Was I dating myself?
probably
Yeah,
not.
CompuServe used to be identified by a number. It was a fairly long number, if I remember.
Well, yeah, because
correctly.
CompuServe was the online encyclopedia. And
Yeah.
so you were given an encyclopedia number that represented you in the encyclopedia.
Yeah, it was fun. All right, as hopeful as I was, that would be the last story. I thought you skipped over a really good card that you had out there, Thomas, and I moved it. I'd like to see you talk about this.
Oh, Firefox?
Firefox. So Firefox again, the new Firefox has really kind of hit the industry and running, and a lot of people are starting to readopt or adopt for the first time Firefox and move back over to it. I'm actually
they're taking an interesting tack on the web browser recently. This story is just one in a couple of sort of new behaviors for the browser. What they're doing is Firefox is scraping the website Have I Been Pwned? And if you visit a website that has been compromised in an attack, it's letting you know right there in the browser location bar that the website that you're on has been compromised. And you can there in the browser
pass, right?
Right, and you can right there in the browser check if your email address or your username was one of the compromised accounts.
Is this feature coming out or it's out now? It says it's out now, huh?
This is not out now.
Oh, it's coming out.
Right. This is an existing add-on or extension for Firefox that they're incorporating into the core browser. Another extension that they're incorporating in notifies you if you're being tracked through canvas images. So canvas images have a sort of inherent vulnerability that let you be tracked across websites, the cross-domain cookie type thing. Yeah. And so they will be notifying you of those types of exploits as well.
I know I use the Tor browser as well, and that's one of the built-in functionalities of the Tor browser already.
So you said it's using Have I Been Pwned? Is Firefox actually submitting your email to that site to tell you specifically that you've been breached on that site, or that the site has had breaches and it's letting you know?
It holds a list of existing breaches, and if you decide to enter in your information, it will submit it through the Have I Been Pwned API.
So if I'd never been to a site that's been breached,
you have.
If I go to a site that I've never been to before that has been breached in the past, Firefox is now going to be discouraging me from signing up to that service.
It's not discouraging you. It's simply letting you know that your account may have been compromised if you have an account on the site.
They are not discouraging me. They're not saying don't sign up for this, but they are discouraging me, saying,
Quote unquote, you visited hacked site LinkedIn.com.
Right. So going to the average end user that sees that, they're gonna be like, oh shit, I'm not signing up for this service. Even if they fix their issues.
But that's not how IPIN-Pwn works, right? IPIN-Pwn.
But that's not what John's saying. John is saying it's weird for a browser. It's weird for a browser, legally speaking, to dissuade people by notifying them of compromises like this.
And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it's what's going to happen.
It does put them in a weird legal position.
No, but again, if I'm understanding it correctly, I go to Twitter.com and I log in with Showcom. If I'm understanding what's going to happen, it's going to check its IPIN-Pwn database for Twitter.com to see if any of the released passwords that they have a database on has the username Showcom associated to it. And if it does, it's going to give me that notification. Hey, this site was compromised. Your username Showcom has turned up on that compromised list. You probably want to change your password.
So this is the part of it where it is a feature that will be coming to Firefox, is that they're working with security researchers and corporations that have been hacked to make sure that they do not present the alert in a way that would
alarm
or libelize the Firefox group. Yeah. I mean, you could get called out for libel pretty quickly by these big companies, and so they're working on integrating this. Oh yes,
so, Eric, to answer your question there, I don't think you're understanding, at least from what Thomas described. He said if you go to LinkedIn, before you log in, it's going to say this site has been breached.
See, I don't think he's.
Click here, and then click here if you want to see if you.
It hasn't been decided what it's going to say.
I think we've already established the fact that Thomas makes shit up constantly. So
it's the last paragraph of the article.
Yeah, you kind of make shit up though.
No, yes, I do, but that's not my point this time.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess.
And if you're talking about the fucking microwave thing, I do not make that up.
We'll have to see.
You didn't make it up. Somebody did, and you just regurgitated it. Anyway,
we'll have to see how this gets implemented. I see both sides of this coin. The behavior I would like to see is, again, it's aware of my login and it checks it against the database to see if that login has shown up on any compromised list. But I guess we're gonna have to wait and see to see how that actually gets implemented.
The existing plugin that it is mocking, the feature that it's implementing does not do that. It asks you if you want to enter your email address to check.
Right.
But the problem is not every site uses email address, so it's not like you can Firefox can say, "Hey, what's your email?" and they'll check it for you, because some sites it's going to be your username.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
either way, it's a thing. It's supposed to be a quick story, but boy, we managed to screw that up.
and we've been going for way too long. It's time to
way too
put
long.
This thing down.
What? I'm just waking up. What are you talking about? The back of my eyes are literally hurting right now. Like
I'm just now getting drunk.
This is how much I want to fall asleep right now. I could.
All right.
Lay down, go to sleep.
We're covering 2 weeks.
Episode 85.
PHP ugly. Keep it ugly. What? Thomas just gives up. Thomas is just like,
no, you're the one who says your name first.
Okay, that's it. We're done. We're calling this a show. We're wrapping up episode 85 of PHP Ugly. I'm Eric Van Johnson.
I'm John Congdon.
And I'm Tom Rideout.
Keep it ugly.
Keep it ugly.
Keep it ugly.
Don't look so disappointed, Thomas.
I'm not disappointed. It's my fault. I threw you off. I threw you off by doing the intro, so now you didn't know who was going to do the outro and how that was going to work.
Well, you started the outro. I thought you were starting the outro, and then John said something, and then you just
John and I
stopped.
were both calling for the outro to be started.
All right, I'm stopping my recording. You could take us off air.